Test. I will tell you to write it both as inequality form and interval notation. And just remember, all real numbers, if you're doing it in interval notation, is negative. Why is it not coming back? Come back. It goes from negative infinity, comma, positive infinity. Those are parentheses, always with infinity sign. Same thing for this, negative infinity to positive infinity, negative infinity, positive infinity. If its y is greater than or equal to -2, it starts at -2, goes to positive infinity. It's a bracket if it's equal to. So you have to show that in that interval notation. And this would be the time when I would entertain your questions on yet said fair pre-test. It's my hopes that obviously this is not very hard. It's only gonna, this number tells you where on the y-axis. It's gonna be this exact same thing except where on the y-axis. You know, this, you have to remember, the thing to remember is this, it's -3, then you go to the right as opposed to going backwards. Grace?
I got them all right, but will we have to do the interval?
Yes. We're gonna do both. You need to state both this way and that way. And I only tell you that is because Yorkville does this. So I need you to know that you know that. And I had never seen it before 2 years ago, so. Gary Ronning.
Oh, I just want to see number 16.
Gary wants to see number 16. Tell me how to do it? Nobody wants to know, see how to do some of these? Alex?
Number 11.
Number 11.
Oh.
Alright. And here again, duly note this here. Your equation is y, or f of x, if you will, is negative x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay? If it is the quadratic functions, the x squared ones are by far the most difficult one. Okay, you first start off with this, labeling what a is, what b is, and what c is. A is the number that comes in front of the x squared, which in this case is a -1. B is what comes in front of the x, which is a -2, and c is the last number there that's by itself, is +1. By the way, children, if you come up with a letter C, that is where it crosses the y-axis. So you'll see up here, I mean, right away you can say, okay, this crosses at +1, so there's going to be a dot at +1 on the y-axis. But the first thing we do is find the axis of symmetry, which is the equation -b over 2a. And again, I strongly encourage you to use parentheses because I've seen too many people make all these mistakes. -b over 2a. b is -2. a is -1. -2 is a +2. 2 times a -1 is a -2. So -1 is your axis of symmetry. So where x is -1, you should draw a dashed line straight up and down, because that is what the parabola is symmetrical about. Got that? Step 2 is you take that -1, put your axis in the equation, and see where the y value is for that. So you're going to have to rewrite this thing again with parentheses again. -x squared minus 2x plus 1. My axis of symmetry is centered around -1, so I put that in there. Most people get these wrong because of the negatives. -1 times -1 is a +1, but there's a negative in front, makes it a -1. -2 times -1 is a +2. And there's a +1 there. -1 plus 2 is +1, plus 1 is +2. That's why the maximum of that parabola is way up there at 2. And again, you've got this dot here, so you know it's symmetrical, so there's a dot equal distance there. And then generally we try to put one more dot just to figure out where this parabola, how wide it gets, how fast it gets. You know, in this case, I would use an easy one, and I would say, well, let's pick 1 for x and see what y is. in which case you need to do this all over again. Don't try to cut corners. Negative x squared minus 2 times x plus 1. You put a 1 in there. 1 times 1 is 1 minus 1. Minus 2 plus 1. You end up with a negative 3 plus 1, which is a negative 2, and that's where this dot came from. You can put a dot there. Then you can sketch in as best you can, Mr. Parabola.
I believe that's very exciting. Please vote for my wife, Hillary. She'll be a good president. I'll make a great first man. Start lots of programs.
Jake Flumsendorf.
Number 17. I don't understand how it's like a squiggly line or something.
It's not a squiggly line. The squiggly line was also crossed off.
I know, but what is that?
This?
Yeah.
This was an error by the guy who wrote the thing down and put the wrong thing there.
Oh.
It's supposed to be this.
Oh.
Do not look. Do not look at this. That's why it's scribbled out. Does that help you out there?
Yeah.
Nothing on the inequalities, people. Nothing on any of that stuff. We're just gonna find Ariel's looking
Can you do that?
previously. Can I do 17? Yes. First of all, people, you know what? And I hate to say it, but I will let you put in your notes the parent function. I'll let you have in your notes. If it's the absolute value of x, what is the graph going to look like of the? If it's the square root of x, what's the graph going to look like? The Nike swish thing, or upside down, or whatever that thing is called. If it's an x squared, it's going to be a u like this. If it's a negative x squared, it's going to be a u like this. And if it is x cubed, it's going to look like this. Once you know that, you just have to find the starting points of the graph, and that's what we have to find here for 17, Ariel. What tells us where this little point is, I need to find that, is this number and this number. This is the y number, which means it goes up to right here. I mean, that's not the point we're using. And then this negative 3 means you go to the right 3. It's opposite. You go plus 3. So it starts up to over 3. That's the start of my graph. And Ariel, it's the same for that as it was for, must be the next page. Is it the next page? It's the same for that as it was, wait, was there no absolute value? What? Wasn't there an absolute value?
Yeah.
There was no V's on this thing?
Oh, yeah.
First page? Oh. Same rule applies here, Ariel. You know it's, because it's absolute value, it's going to be a V. You just need to find where the point of the V is. It's down for left 1. Down for left 1, and it shoots off like that. This is the only stickler. Everybody always thinks plus 1 means you should go that way, but in reality it means you have to go the opposite way. Jacob Funsendorf.
15 and 16.
Right here. Here. What's 15 and 16? What's the equation for 15?
2x plus y equals
2x plus y equals what?
negative.
Negative 1. And here's the deal with this. It's in standard form, so you want to solve it by x, y intercepts, Jake? Okay, so if you put 0 in for x, y is, so there's your negative 1. And here's one we don't do very often, but if you put 0 in for y, you end up with 2x equals negative 1. How do you solve that for x? Divide by 2, divide by 2. X actually equals a negative 1/2. And you are in 8th grade, and you can figure out kind of where negative 1/2 is on the x-axis because it's between negative 1 and 0. So that's where this dot came from. And you just draw out the rest of it. If that confuses you, you can always, I hate to say it, you can always make a table and put values in and see what. Or, another option would be, change this from standard form into slope-intercept form simply by doing what? Slope-intercept is just solved for y. How would I solve this for y? How do I get y by itself? Subtract the 2x over. So this equation is the same thing as y equals negative 2x minus 1. So you'd have y-intercept of -1 and a slope of -2, which means it goes up 2 over 1. You could solve this and make it in slope-intercept form. Standard form is really easier to do because it's really quick. I guess either one of them is pretty fast. Is that what was problem number 16?
Like the x minus 2y equals -2.
X minus 2y equals -2. In this case, put 0 in for y, x is -2. 0 in for x, what's a -2 divided by -2? +1. So there's your y, -2, +1. Cowabunga dude. Smith,
Number 3.
race. Yeah, everybody had trouble with number 3, or most people did. You have n over 3 minus 5 is greater than or equal to -2. It's just like solving an equation. To get the letter n by itself, I gotta get rid of the 5, so I do what? Opposite of minusing is adding. I add 5 to both sides. I'm still left with n over 3. That is greater than or equal to -2 plus 5 is a 3. Then the question is, how do I get n by itself now? Divided by 3, opposite of dividing by 3 is multiplying both sides by 3. So this goes away, you're left with n is greater than or equal to 9. Greater than or equal to 9. Please note, children, again, if this would have been a negative n over here, a negative n over here, you would have divided or multiplied by a -3, and that would have changed this sign, and that sign. If your variable is negative, and I don't know if any of these did they? It doesn't look like it. Maybe I'm not testable either. Ding!
What do you do number 12?
Is that on nice power? Same way I did number 11? You want me to do it? Did you label your A, B's, and C's? Your C is +0, so you know at the origin is where that's going to be the y-intercept. Your axis of symmetry, if A equals 2 and B equals 4 and C equals 0, negative A over 2B, what? Negative B over 2A, B is 4, A is 2, so you end up with a -4 over a +4. So your axis of symmetry is at -1 again. So if you're at -1, is your axis of symmetry. You got 1 point there, you got 1 point there. To find this point, you have to just put your axis of symmetry, your -1, into your original equation, which I probably can't do. Y equals 2 times -1 squared plus 4 times -1, which is what? 1 times 2 is 2. Does that say 2? What is that? Oh, this was supposed to be -1. 4 times -1 is -4. So 2 into -4 is -2, and that's this point here. And then you might want to put 1 in there, you'll still get this little parabola. I probably would mark it wrong if you just got those basic points there. Other ones, Christine, on that, did that help? Most of this is doing it slowly and carefully, as opposed to anything else. No mas, no mess max, no mas max, me madre would say. Remember that? Remember the jump rope guy? Wasn't it the jump rope guy that sang? The jump rope king? Jump rope king, he had the little things at the end. He sang while he jumped rope. What was that?
Oh, I remember it. Then they turned the lights off. And it's
That was the bicycle guy.
I
I thought that was good.